Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Memories, the show that's about Minecraft and memories. Last time we worked on the... oh, it's gone. It's gone forever. We worked on the purple room. I think we better signify that this is in fact the purple room. Kind of reminds me of the dungeon. These blocks remind me of the dungeon from the second Legend of Zelda game. I talked a little bit about that game, but man, oh man, was that game ever difficult. A kind of very important part of my life too, because that was the game that I used to watch Mom play when I was growing up, and one of the dungeons that stood out most to me was the purple/pink dungeon, and that's because that dungeon had a big sea serpent noodle in it, a noodle dragon, an eastern sea serpent thing, and maybe that influenced me. I don't know, but it would come out of lava, and I don't remember what that one's name is. It has like some canonical name. Today I think what we'll do is we'll find a nice little spot and we'll maybe make another little shrine area. I kind of like the St. Ulam's thing. Maybe we'll do something different. I noticed this little patch of water over here between the two cliffs. Maybe this is the last resting place of a... maybe a battle-hardened... Maybe this will be a battle-hardened... Yeah, that's the story we're going to go with on this one. A battle-hardened kind of warlord eventually became canonically a saint. His last resting spot. So maybe people come from far distances to examine his bones. He died in the shallows. So last time I talked a little bit about high school and band. And that's because band was pretty much the gateway to me having friends. I don't know what life would have been like if I hadn't been in band, but I'm glad I don't have to find out, because many of the friends that I made and still have to this day, I met in high school. One of them, we've kind of, when I say drifted apart, I don't mean that we actually, almost all of us still stay in contact with one another. But when I say drifted apart, I mean kind of moved around a little bit. But I mean, I'll still talk to these guys on the phone fairly regularly. One of them lives in Nashville. This guy, he was probably the first to kind of start talking to me and being my friend. And this was something I wasn't used to at this point in my life. He was talking to me, and I'll admit, I was still suspicious. I was like, why is this guy talking to me? I didn't mean it in a, I'm better than him. I mean it in a, alright, when's he going to turn on me kind of way. Thankfully, that didn't happen. He was a good guy. His name's Lance. We'll say Lance F. Interesting thing about Lance is he has one working lung, and he still played trombone. In fact, he was often criticized by the band director for playing trombone too loudly. One lung plays far too loud. I mean, that's pretty kind of funny that he's able to do that. We always used to make fun of him and say, hey, you know, you'll blow a lung out. One thing I've learned, because, you know, my eye patch and have one working eye, one thing I've learned since then is that if you've got one of anything, people will make jokes about it. And they'll be the same jokes over and over again. You'll get tired of hearing them, but, you know, if you're in that situation, just indulge them. They're having fun with it. They don't know that you've heard it before. You just gotta go, haha, you got me. I often hear the pirate ones. You know, "Arr, matey." Yeah, I've actually had people driving down the road who have I've heard them go "arg," and I'll pirate right back at them like, "I matey avast," and you know, it's all in good fun. Let's see, this is a nice little shrine. It needs a little decorum on top, I believe. So when I first got to high school, as I mentioned, first few days of band camp, I had no friends, and a few people invited me to sit with them, and I was far too suspicious. Lance, luckily, was persistent. He was, no, come sit with us. No, for real, come sit with us. All right, fine, come sit with you. And I did, and I sat with a few of his friends. As far as I'm aware, he didn't keep in contact with them, but, you know, he still calls me up, and we chat on the phone. He played the same instrument I did, and, you know, in high school, that pretty much made you family. The trombone section in high school, we were the I'm not gonna say we were the wild and crazy kids, but we were the wild and crazy kids. We yeah, I kind of like that, kind of hidden back. We need to put some bones. All good shrines have bones in them. When I say wild and crazy, we were kind of troublemakers, but not really. Mischievous would be the right word to use. And, you know, we would pull pranks and stuff. One of the best pranks that we ever did, we actually pranked our band director's house a few times. When I was well, twice. I'll start with the second time, because I think the second time was less fun. It was kind of meh. The second time, when he was gone, we put Christmas lights on his house, put a tree in his front yard, and we Christmased his house. And that might sound cool. It wasn't not cool, but it also wasn't exactly. How should I say this? It wasn't exactly like the bee's knees, because the earlier year, the year before, you know, and he came back and he saw the Christmas lights. He's like, you guys, and we're like, us guys. But the year before, what we'd done is we had taken his, and it cost like $64 to do, but it was worth it, you know, because Dad's like, you know, it'll cost $64. You want to do that, son? I said, yeah, that's I want to do this. All right, well, I'll go get the stuff. We got an industrial roll of saran wrap, and we saran wrapped his house, like all of it, top to bottom. It took 3 rolls, industrial rolls. So I don't know how much each one was, 20 something, 20 and some change. But once he, oh, that's right, we can't. That's how Minecraft works, isn't it? So we saran wrapped his house, and while we were doing it, the cops showed up. And what's the chorus fruit? Maybe he's associated with chorus fruit. That's his holy bone, and he's got an arrow swiftness, and he was well read, and he wants to clean out my inventory. This should be right here. Okay, I can dig that. But the cops were actually called on us, and you know, he shows up. Funny enough, the cop that showed up was the uncle of one of the people that was in band with us. This one tiny kid, we called him Cricket because he can make this cricket sound. He went through puberty and then he could no longer make said cricket sound. But he, his uncle showed up. Gotta be careful with this. Okay, perfect. His uncle showed up, and his uncle's the cop. Hey, what are you kids doing? Oh, we're, when he showed up, I was actually getting my digital camera out of the car, and I see lights pull up, and I notice it's a cop car. He doesn't have his siren or his lights on, but I could see it was a cop car, and I think a couple of the guys were like, "Oh my gosh," kind of worried. I, on the other hand, was like, "Oh yes, cops are here. We're gonna get a photo." I mean, I wasn't too worried about. Was it mycelium that you had to? Yeah, I think it was mycelium. So I wasn't too worried about it. I thought, oh yeah, this is the perfect opportunity. What are you guys doing? And so I explained it. We actually had a note written up to him saying that, hey, if you want, we'll come and clean up the house. And once the cop saw that, he realized, okay, this is all in good fun. And it especially helped that his nephew was in band with us. And he kind of knows, it's band was almost militaristic in a lot of ways because you had to do drill sets and you had to be in the right position and you practiced marching day in and day out and day in and day out and day in. Very repetitive. And guys and gals I know that had like no structure in their life, maybe they weren't necessarily 100% better as a result of band, but some of them I know got a structure in their life and kind of got with it after being there and realized, okay, yeah, need to straighten up my act, and kind of went clean. It was very, very good, and I wish Minecraft would stop making me jump. I don't want to jump. Shonen jump. But some of them were very... They needed the structure. One guy that comes to mind actually played trombone with us, and there were many others that played many other instruments, but if they played trombone and you played trombone, you got to know them pretty intimately. This guy was quintessential redneck, kind of white trash. Interesting enough, he was born without vision in one eye. I would hate to be like that, am I right? No. He was born like his pupil was only half formed, so they had to like inject pupil and dye it black, like the unformed half. I don't even remember how we noticed it. We asked like, "Are you blind or something?" He's like, "Half actually," and he so, "Oh man, I'm sorry." He's like, "That's all right. Not a lot of people know. It's not something that I really call attention to," and I can understand that. He was a really good guy, but he was definitely kind of one of those guys you would expect to pick up some opioid problem and wind up probably dead on meth in a few years. But I mean, and maybe he wouldn't have been, but he just kind of seemed like the kind of guy, and it's not nice to stereotype, but I was like, yeah, he's not really got a lot of structure in his life. But after band, he kind of, as far as I'm aware, he went and started working, I think, with auto mechanic, or maybe not. Maybe I don't know what he does. I'm not even going to pretend. But he was a, you could see that even the 1 year that he was there, it really kind of helped him. The guy that entered band wasn't the same guy that left. And it was kind of cool to see that transition. So we saran wrapped the house, and actually, funny enough, we tried to get the cop to give us a ride because we knew the band director was gone. There was a band party happening. Band parties were usually held by one of three people. It was either the I can't remember his name. It was some trumpet player. He's a goofy guy, but his parents were loaded, and we would go to their house. Or it would be Sarah, what's her name? I don't even remember. Very serious kind of person. She was, I actually took her to prom once. It wasn't very fun. She's pretty and everything, and she's smart, but I don't think she had the word laugh in her vocabulary. She was a lot like a, kind of a robot. She didn't want to laugh, and actually that was funny. She would normally not go to prom with someone like me. The reason I got her like it was a trap. It was sort of a trap, but it wasn't an intentional one. The original plan was there was a duct tape scholarship, and the person who made the best prom, the best like prom outfit from duct tape got like a $3,000 scholarship. Now, someone as serious as her, the word scholarship is probably the most erotic thing you can tell her. And so she's like, yeah, I'll go. And it probably helped that I was a junior and she was a sophomore, so she wouldn't have been able to go otherwise. So we go to Whaler's Catch. I'm driving, and funny enough, well, not funny enough, it's I forget to turn my headlights on, because back then the car that I was using had a headlights. That you had to they weren't automatic. You had to click them on, and I forgot. And I was like, man, it's dark, and a cop actually had his lights on, but then he passed us, thankfully, because how embarrassing would that have been to be pulled over on prom night? Never hear the end of that. Although by the time I was in high school, I was kind of able to play off my embarrassments pretty easily. They'd say, "Oh, good going, Kyle." I was like, "What can I say? I'm a champ." I learned to laugh at myself pretty easily. And that's a skill that I'm very happy to say I still have to some degree. Actually, watching my Undertale series, I still have it to a pretty good degree. I'm not the best Undertale player. So we go to Whaler's Catch, which is like the prom restaurant in the area. It's about 30 minutes away from the school, and it's not even that good, but it's like it's like country good. And that, what I mean by country good is you're not in the city, you don't have the selections of a city, you're in the country. This is good, or at least good enough. So we go to Whaler's Catch, then we go to because she'd already said yes by the time. I forget how it fell through. We didn't. I think she was in my AP chemistry class, because you could take AP chemistry your sophomore year or junior year, and then you could take the AP physics, or there was some other AP. She's a smart girl. I wasn't dumb, but I wasn't like as rigorous a studier as she was. So we eventually that fell through, but she didn't really care. She's like, all right, I guess I'll still go to prom with you. She didn't say it like that dismissively, but it might as well have been. I mean, I knew I wasn't her type. So we go to prom, do the whole dance thing, and then after a while she's like, yeah, I'm ready to go home. So we go home. She didn't even give me a goodnight kiss. I didn't get a kiss from her. My first kiss was actually on a band bus. A gal named Cynthia, kind of a crazy gal, but not like bad crazy, more like art crazy. When I say art crazy, and this is not trying to be derogatory toward art people, I'm kind of an art people myself. I do a lot of doodling, but the ones that will like take 50 pink flamingos and like tie them to their bed. She seemed like that kind, but I'm down for an adventure. You want to do this crazy kind of stuff? I'll do crazy stuff. Maybe we could try and out crazy each other. See which one of us gets tired of it first. No, my first kiss was like we started kind of kissing each other back and forth, little peck kiss, and then we just like open mouth tongue, and it was I forget when I say the band bus was legendary for how let's say naughty it is. So I'm sure everybody, as soon as you say to anybody my age, yada 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 band camp, 90% of the time their response is going to be this one time at band camp, because my generation has been thoroughly indoctrinated by the American Pie series, and the character from that is like some flautist who like tells all these boring stories about things she's done at band camp, and then like surprise surprise, one of the stories is naughty about her flute and where it's been, and it's like, oh man, audience shock. It was the kind of humor, it was like pre-Seth Rogen era humor, but it was still kind of in the same Seth Rogen category. I kind of consider the first Seth Rogen humor era to be 40-Year-Old Virgin. I remember when the movie came out, I was in high school, and some of my classmates, Cody B, Ivy, his name was Ivy because he was the fourth of the namesake, but we all just called him Ivy. I don't even know if he actually had to this day I don't know if he has a real name. I don't recall his real name because I think we've used it all of once, and that once was, X, your name's X? Yeah. Oh. Huh, I never knew that. Yeah, I'm the fourth, that's why Ivy. Oh, that makes sense, okay. But they were watching, like, they had, I think, a PSP, and were watching, like, a handheld video, and it was 40-Year-Old Virgin, and they were like, this is the funniest movie ever made. And then I watched it, and I was like, it's okay. And then ever since then, we've been getting the same humor over and over again from, let's do a spruce. I'm in a spruce mood. We've been getting the same humor from the Seth Rogen. I mean, it was more than that. Steve Carell, Seth Rogen. So when I say that, it's like the 40-Year-Old Virgin, the what's her name and what's his name make a porno, the dictator, or not the dictator, the one that took place in North Korea. You know what I mean by Seth Rogen humor. The one that's like stoner comedy meets like awkward person humor. Um, I don't know. I think you know what I mean when I say that kind of humor. But they were like, they were just all about this movie. Man, thank goodness for this potion of night. So I don't know. She wasn't that fun going to prom with. Is where I'm going with that. But the next year it was a lot more fun. There was a gal who I was kind of interested in named Jessica. I forget what she played, flute maybe or clarinet or something. Um, and she was fun. Like she had a similar sense of humor, and we were never official. Kind of should have made a move on her actually. I think I was just a little too shy at that point. But she was cool. She actually lives here in Florida, and she's still in contact with one of my friends. So maybe like he can come down to visit her and me. We can all ride down together, and I could like I don't know make a move. No, but it would be good to see her again. We went to prom, and this was in my senior year after I had bottle rocketed myself, and I don't really care for that. So I bottle rocketed myself, and I had to wear an eye patch. Well, we got a second eye patch for her, and she wore it with me. And I remember from that prom, she was talking to a friend or something, and she saw me wearing her eye patch and my eye patch. Like I was double eye patching it. Um, and she was kind of like, "Eh, funny, funny." And she's talking to friends, and I just kind of walked off. I think I went and got something to drink, get some juice or something. And then she realized I wasn't there, and then she kind of freaked out, like thinking that she thought that I had wandered off with both eye patches on, and I was just kind of blindly stumbling around the school. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were like lost or something." I'm like, "Nah, I took off the eye patch when I wandered away." I don't know. She kind of goofy, but I'm pretty goofy too, so I can't say much there. I think I'm going to call it for this episode, guys. I see that I've recorded for about 22 minutes. So until next time, take care. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Bye.